Melissa Farmer Hill, a retired Army veteran and the founder of the Shero Coffee Club, where our mission is to keep the world caffeinated and women veterans celebrated. I want to thank you for joining us today. What do we have? We're talking to our guest, CEO Yvette Jones-Swanson of VetMentors LLC. We'll take a spin around the Shero resource table, and we've got your story and tip of the week brewing right after this. Yes, and we are back. And now, you know what I want to talk about before we get into our Shero resource table? We love connecting with you. Yes, we absolutely do. What I want you to do is like this episode and subscribe to the Shero Coffee Chat. We need to hear from our audience. Yes, we do. So I would love it if you would like and share this episode. And if you feel like it, subscribe, because we are live every Sunday at 9 a.m. Now, you already know how we do it at Shero Coffee Chat. Life is a journey, right? Absolutely. And it's not always smooth sailing. You know, we have our challenges throughout life. And that's why we have to keep our heads on a swivel when it comes to getting the right information. I said the right information for our veterans and their families. We have over 16 million military veterans out there, and no one, absolutely no one, has all the answers when it comes to benefits and programs and changes and resources. And that's where the Shero resource table comes in. Again, I love sharing information that might make life a little easier for all of us, whether it's about opportunities and support or just staying in the know. Because if one of us wins, we all win. And we all need some wins under our belt for 2025, right? All right, ladies, this one's for you. Let's talk about your health. Did you know, and this is serious, that only 44% of women veterans are enrolled in the VA healthcare? Only 44%. And that means more than half of us who are eligible aren't even taking advantages of the benefits we've earned. I'm going to repeat that. The benefits that we've earned. And let me be clear, this is not welfare, it's not public assistance, it's not some social safety net. These are benefits that come with your service, just like your uniform, your rank, and your military ID. And I get it. Some of us, myself included, at one point in time, I had the mindset, that VA was only for people who are severely injured or on their deathbeds. But let me tell you something. That could be further from the truth. I use VA for all my healthcare needs because they offer comprehensive care specifically designed for me, and they can do the same for you. Women veterans have access to primary care, mental health support, reproductive health, maternity care, specialized programs, for PTSD, military sexual trauma. I mean, and it's all to just make sure, you get the care you need. They have also women's health coordinators, and these women's health coordinators are at every VA facility to really help guide you through the process on your benefits and advocate for your health. They're going to make sure that you don't have to figure it all out by yourself. And I know lots of times that's how a lot of us feel. We feel alone. So if you haven't enrolled, I want to encourage you that now is the time. Even if you don't feel like you need the care today, or you have another job and you're using that insurance, but even if you don't feel like you need the care, just having options. having that access when you need it could, one day be invaluable. Now, in order to qualify, because there are some qualifications for the VA healthcare, you have to have served on active duty and received a discharge, other than dishonorable. And if you enlisted in 1980, you have to have served like 24 continuous months of service, or at least have completed a full active duty period. But there are exceptions for, service disconnected abilities, hardships, early discharges. And then reservists and National Guard members, they qualify if they're federally activated, if you deployed or something like that, for full duty service. Priority goes to those, of course, who have service disconnected abilities, combat veterans, former POWs, and recipients of like Purple Heart Awards and things like that. But I don't want you to take my word for it. I want you to find out for yourself, because I could have said something wrong. So go to va.gov, and inside va.gov you can look up how to apply for VA healthcare. Look it up for yourself so that you'll know. I mean, what I want to let you know is, you served your country. You served your country. Now let the VA serve you. It's time. So if you qualify and you haven't done it, I want to encourage you to make sure that you get enrolled. All right. All right. So now let's get into our story of the week. Let's hear it. 3 cheers for this next topic. Shero, Shero, Shero. All right. Check out this clip.
President Trump made that announcement in a tweet just about 30 minutes ago, and here it is. The president saying this: just signed bill. Our military will now be stronger than ever before. We love and need our military and gave them everything and more. First time this has happened in a long time, also means jobs, jobs, jobs. This does come after twin votes in the House and Senate overnight. The $500 billion price tag on the bill, though, was too steep for Republican Senator Rand Paul, who actually held up the Senate vote for hours, calling his fellow conservatives complicit in adding to the nation's growing deficit. Paul eventually, though, stepped aside, and the Senate passed that bill 71-28. The House then passed it 240-186. This deal during an economic boom is one of the biggest spending bills that we've seen since the stimulus back in 2009. The measure includes billions for opioid treatment, also disaster relief, infrastructure, and a big boost to defense spending.
Yes, President Trump has signed a budget appropriations bill, officially avoiding a government shutdown for now. We know how that goes. But just securing the capital for the programs we needed. And also that includes military pay raises. Now, this means that the approved 2024 pay raise to our junior enlisted service members, it should officially take effect April next month. This bill is such a big deal for our junior enlisted, our E1 through E4 military, because truth be told, let's keep it real, they are often living paycheck to paycheck. And with the passing of this bill, that's going to increase their annual pay, I think around $30,000. If you got an additional $30,000 annually, would that help you? I know it will definitely help our E1s through E4s. And that's going to, just give some financial stability to our junior enlisted and give them an improved quality of life. I am so happy for them. Now, we're going to be diving a little deeper into the bill because it does come with pros and cons. But for now, let's celebrate our junior enlisted and their pay raise. Good stuff. All right, now we're going to go right into, after I take a sip. Have you got your Shero coffee? That's medium roast. Yep. We're going to go right into our tip of the week before we bring on our guest of the week. So let's talk about something that really impacts and affects us all. Now, if you live in the Chicagoland or Northwest Indiana area and you've seen this, and I'm sure it's all over parts of the United States, maybe especially in California, you might have noticed that the sky looked kind of hazy. There was like an overcast, almost like a storm was rolling in, but it wasn't bad weather. It was poor air quality. RFK starts to look into the FDA and the Food and Drug Administration, there's some things that we need to start looking into too for our own health. And that is poor air quality. And here's the thing, poor air quality can seriously impact your health. So you might have heard of the air quality index, or AQI. If you heard of that before, if not, here's how I want you to think of it. I want you to think of it as just a weather report for the air you breathe. A weather report for the air you breathe. The AQI measures pollution levels, and the scale goes from 0 to 500. And the higher the number, the worse the air. When AQI, air quality index, when it's high levels, that means the air we breathe is packed with pollutants like emissions, fine particles, ozone, gases like nitrogen and carbon monoxide. And this can trigger, how some people have environmental allergies? I know I do. This can trigger coughing and shortness of breath, and getting dizzy, and even for people with long-term lung and heart issues. And if you already have asthma or some other like respiratory condition, it can definitely get worse in this under high levels of AQI. So here's what you can do. The best thing to do, only if you can, is to stay indoors if the air quality is bad, especially if you have kids, or if you have elderly family members or breathing issues. You can keep your windows closed, use an air purifier. And if you have those respiratory conditions, you should invest in an air purifier anyway. And avoid outdoor workouts. So if you like to run outside, you have any of these conditions, go ahead and go in for the day, go to the gym or work out at home, because it's serious. And if you have to go outside, let's take it back to COVID. Wear those masks that can help you filter out the air pollution. Now, we know we cannot control the air, but what I want you to do, or what I invite you to do, is to just make smarter choices to just protect yourselves and protect the people you care about. And really, that is what it's all about. And I just wanted to have this segment as a tip of the week to just raise awareness about AQI, so that you'll have a little better understanding of it. And maybe you'll start to monitor AQI where you live, just like you do the weather. All right. So that was your tip of the week. And now we're going to go into our special guest. I had the pleasure, notice that's past tense. I had the pleasure of sitting down with our next guest. She is a woman of many talents, and definitely someone who is making an impact for veterans. We couldn't sync our calendars to go live today, so the interview is pre-recorded. I do hope you enjoy it. Again, don't forget, like this episode and share it with your fellow veterans, or people who are family members. So until next week, keep your heart full and your coffee strong. And now our next guest is here. Yvette Jones-Swanson is the CEO of VetMentors LLC. She is a dedicated realtor and Army veteran focused on supporting fellow veterans. Yes, she is. I know this to be true personally. As the wife of a retired U.S. Army Master Sergeant Stephen Swanson, she brings personal understanding of military life to her work. Vet Mentors is both SBA certified, and VA certified, emphasizing its commitment to serving the veteran community. Yvette has designed transformative housing initiatives, including the Beverly Veterans Housing Plan and the Toriano Sanzone Reformative Housing Model, empowering veterans transitioning to civilian life and including a national Veterans Village plan. With the real estate career starting in 1996, listen to this. Yvette has successfully housed over 5,000, y'all hear me? 5,000 homeless veterans. I want to read that again. Yvette has successfully housed over 5,000 homeless veterans and is a certified woman owned small business, minority business enterprise, and service disabled veteran owned business. She authored the U.S. Military Veterans Educational and Resource Book Series and collaborates with various stakeholders to ensure impactful solutions for veteran housing challenges. And it's a challenge. Yvette holds a master's degree and is a licensed realtor with the Real People Realty, making her a trusted resource for veterans seeking stable housing and financial independence. Ladies and gentlemen, help me in welcoming to Shero Coffee Chat, Yvette Jones-Swanson. Yvette, I'm just so elated that we could collaborate and get you on the show to talk about this amazing program. But before we do, this is what I want you to touch on. Now, you've had a personal experience with homelessness, and so how did that shape what you do now?
Okay, it was created out of those experiences. So I wasn't homeless just one time. I was the wife of a serving Marine. I was the Army veteran. I had come home after my military stay, and met him, and he was an abusive husband. So I would run away and to try to find safety and some help and resources. So, and I see that happening in our veteran community every single day. For the past 22 years, I've been serving in this community, and it's horrible being nowhere and not having anywhere to go.
Yeah.
So that's what fuels me every day. I just can't stand having our veterans homeless and not knowing what to do. And that now now back with the going back into the VA to teach the social workers and case managers and human care professionals where we are now with this. um, Artificial intelligence has really um, crossed a lot of paths, and now it needs to cross theirs. So that's where I am. That's how it has shaped me into always looking and trying to find resources for the community.
I find it interesting that you mentioned AI. Now, I want to dive into that a little bit more. Now, I mean, everyone knows that AI is going to change the way we live. We understand that. So, how is it shaping the veteran community and what you do? How is AI shaping that?
Mm. So I am, and I gave myself this title because one day I said and thought, I'm like, what do I actually do? So my title is National Veterans Homeless Housing Advocate and Consultant.
Mm-hmm.
And and that means national. I can go national now because of AI. I know how to find resources here in the Chicagoland area, and just playing around with the platform about a year ago. Um, I started engaging with, different things for my personal self and my business. How can I enhance the sound of this letter? How can I create these
Right.
forms? How can I, do all of that? And one day it dawned on me that I can use it in other ways.
Uh-huh.
I started putting it out there on social media in TikTok,
Mhm.
because that's where a lot of people are active all over the place.
Mhm.
And I said, hey, I house homeless veterans, and homeless veterans started telling me they're homeless in Las Vegas, Nevada, in Florence, South Carolina,
Wow.
in Hawaii. Oh,
Yeah.
they're all in this book right here, in Finding
Uh-huh.
Home. And
Okay.
this is a national publication that is on Amazon. So
Okay.
my book series is on Amazon platform and my website. So,
Okay.
and these are homeless veterans in their city, in their state, and don't have access to resources because they don't know where the resources are. They don't know how to
Right.
find the resources. So
Right.
I've been, testing it out, sending resources all year for a whole. I just sent some resources yesterday morning to Long Beach, California.
Mm.
And I'm like, okay, let me get this out. Let me get it out so I can teach, and put it out there so people can learn it step by step and find anything you want at your fingertips.
Yeah. I was going to ask you also. Now you've already housed over five. I know that number is probably larger than 5,000 veterans. That's my last count. That's
Right,
my
I
last count.
know.
But tell me what's the biggest challenge in taking a veteran from homelessness to getting housed?
Oh, the biggest challenge, for who? For me right
Yeah.
now. For me right now, the biggest challenge, um, is well, since COVID took a lot of people out, it and a lot of investors who were in my network,
Mm-hmm.
they sold a lot of their properties. But then I came back to a lot of my, a few, not a lot, a few of my investors in the network. But now you got different people, you've got different people in the game,
Yeah.
and it takes a different approach to getting to them. So I had to sit back, and think about this. I would send, oh, and that's just one side of it,
Yeah.
having the access to the inventory, and not just the inventory, but having the investors and the builders knowledgeable on the community, so that when a phone call is made or an email is sent out, look, I need 10 units, who's got them? And they'll be like, okay, that I got them, because they've been educated on what to expect.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one side. And then the other side is the new social workers. Every time you get a new batch of social workers and case managers, and they don't know who to go to for these resources,
Yeah.
so they're like, and a lot of it was funny, because when I first started in the community, a lot of the social workers were new graduates. They had done their residency or whatever, their internship,
Yeah.
whatever they had to do to get their LCSWs, and some of them still lived at home.
With their parents.
Right. They never looked for an apartment.
Right. So they had no clue as to who they were serving.
No, yeah, on the other side, they knew they were serving homeless veterans, that they
Mm-hmm.
worked in homeless walk-in in
Yeah.
Hud Vash. They were, registered nurses up in 9 North and 9 South, and and they were at the, just all over the city serving veterans at the vet
Yeah.
center, wherever they get the homeless veteran. Yeah. So, how do you serve a homeless veteran?
Mm-hmm.
What all do they need? And
Right.
everybody is different, but everybody needs a lot.
Is there something basic, some of the basics that they need? Like, what's the commonalities between the homeless and what they need to start transitioning toward getting a home?
So the quickest, oh, okay, put it this way. There's the quickest thing that they need is shelter.
Yeah.
That's the quickest thing. From there, everything is built out.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I house unhoused homeless veterans, I always ask the investor, look, we need to do something more than just get them in the door, because I've housed homeless veterans who came in with black plastic bags, and
Yeah.
that's it. And I always felt some type of way, because I know when I moved into my first apartment out of homelessness, there were two couches in the studio apartment, and I
Mm-hmm.
told the manager to leave that one, but take that one out,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because I knew that's where I was going to sleep. So I would always ask them, look, we need a bed. Can you provide at least a twin size bed? We can get by with that.
Mm-hmm.
And everything was built around that. They need to know. Some of them need to know how to get utilities turned on.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them who were in an apartment before and ran up a utility bill. Now, who's going to pay that bill? So
Right.
you got to know what resources to go for that. So it's not a simple thing. What does one need? And that's on the low totem pole of the homeless
Well,
population.
how would they even start? I'm homeless. I could get in con I'm homeless. What do I do? I'm really trying to seek housing. I'm really trying to, do I go through your program? Do I go through VetMentors? Or what would you recommend? Do I contact my VA, or what would you recommend?
Well, the first thing they need to do as a veteran, they really need to go to homeless walk-in. That's where
Okay.
I would go. I would go straight up to the eighth floor in Jesse Brown to homeless walk-in. I'm homeless. And let them know, you got to let them know what you need. And I
Yeah.
need to do an intake. They might say, well, you might need to call this number first or whatever, but that's where I would go first. You got to demand these benefits,
Absolutely.
you
Absolutely. We
know,
know all about
because,
that.
yeah,
Right.
you have to. I
Yeah.
had a homeless senior veteran call me. She had
Uh-huh.
gone to Jesse Brown VA eighth floor homeless walk-in,
Yeah.
and she was turned away with a piece of paper of realtors' names on it, and my name is the first line. And
Okay.
luckily she called me first, but
Yeah.
and she's in the book too.
Okay.
She's in Finding Home.
Okay.
They told her to leave with the piece of paper, and she went out and she called me on the phone. It was like 5:30. I'm like, oh, I don't want to talk to anybody right now. I just want to eat my Fannie Mae and chill.
But you know what? That's the funny part. Can you believe our time is up? But that's the thing about, service and sacrifice. We have to keep moving on. But I really love the advice you gave. So if it's anybody watching
Yes.
and you're homeless, find your VA and let them know what you need. Tell them you are homeless. And we also have numbers that we'll leave in the chat. And thank you so much for joining us on the Shero Coffee Chat. It's been a wonderful conversation. And yes, I hope that all the best. Continue to house our homeless veterans, because we need that, and we need you in the game doing that. So thank you for joining us.
Oh wait, I need a cup.
You got a cup?
I got a cup.
Okay, all right, that's fine. As always, keep your heart full and your coffee strong. See you next week.
All right.